We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag We Gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one about Mayhem-ing Mutants. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach Beard. Chris Evans, how are you?
I'm good. I was thinking about the title. It's funny because it could go out like I would think some people seeing it think we're talking about X-Men, which is very
X-Men,
common.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
As soon as I get started, so this could go either way for people when they see it. But we're actually it's about the Ninja Turtle movie.
That's right.
Unless I could find a way to bring up X-Men at some point.
I was gonna say, let's see. We got an hour to go. Let's see if we can bring up X-Men in some way or another.
I'll do what I can.
Yeah. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. Sorry, reading this.
I'm confused.
Chris, you ever broken a bone before?
No.
No?
I feel like we're about to get into weird territory.
No. I think I've cracked a rib before,
okay.
But I've never broken a bone before. Knock on wood before, and that surprises people when I tell them that I haven't broken a bone. I played sport. I guess I played sports when I was a kid. You know, I'm overly clumsy now. I don't know. Just almost every person I know is they've broken a finger, broken their arm. You know, it seems maybe we have weak-boned Canadians. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure, but
what about the Hosers? Hosers, is that what it is? Is it Hosers?
Hoosiers is that basketball
Hoosiers,
movie with Gene Hackman.
So it's Hosers then, right?
Hosers, yeah, that's it.
I may not know a lot of things, but I know Canadian slang. Thanks to How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, that's right. So you never broken a bone, eh?
No, I have not actually. I don't think I've ever had like any kind of injury like that. So. I also don't. I'm not really a sports kind of person.
Sure. We assumed that when my daughter was getting older that she would be breaking something. Mm-hmm. You know, she's very clumsy and was quite active. And it wasn't until she was her grade 7 year she broke her collarbone when she slipped and fell and landed on grass, and she broke her collarbone. So. Anyways, the way we thought she was going to break it, and she rides horses as well, and she's fallen off a couple times, and she hasn't broken anything then. So it's like you break them in the weirdest, strangest places when you're kind of unassuming or not prepared to break them, I think.
Yeah, my daughter fell off the couch and fractured her elbow.
Yeah, it's like a simple thing, right?
Mm-hmm. It happens.
It does.
It's funny whenever you see those they're like it's like a meme or something. Every point for something you have done, and broken a bone is always on those like it's an achievement.
Yeah,
I don't understand that. Like, is that how you measure if you lived well? Well, I broke 6 bones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we all die and we get to that the great gates in heaven, if we don't have broken bone on the list, they don't let us in. So
I'd like to think Garfield took you away. With the Bill Murray Garfield.
That's right, not the cartoon.
No, it has to be Bill Murray's. It just makes sense that way.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to me anyway.
It makes sense to me.
There you
go. So, what'd you get up to this week, Chris? What'd you watch? What'd you read?
I did not read a single thing.
Ooh, look at you go!
Yeah, not a single. I didn't even read Night Terrors this week.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was actually pretty busy, and then when I did have free time, I just watched a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I watched again a ton of Young Sheldon. I'm really far into season 3 now, and it's to a point now. It's interesting because a couple of my friends have nicknamed me Shelly after Sheldon because we have similar quirks, I suppose. I don't know.
Okay.
But I got to the episode where he discovers the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's all going downhill from here.
Yeah, where he's finally turning into the pop culture-y nerd.
Yeah, it's coming, but I thought that was funny. But I did watch a lot of stuff. I saw the new Ninja Turtles, which I think we're going to wait to talk about.
We'll talk about that after.
Okay. I watched that. I watched Heart of Stone. Do you have any interest in that movie?
That's the one you were tweeting about with Gal in it? That one?
Yeah, the Gal Gadot Mission Impossible Light movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it.
It's 8:05, fellas. I'm waiting longer for this than I do for my kids at a public restroom. Grabs, is your thing updated? Grabs might not be watching the feed.
Oh. We live, man.
Yeah. And anyway, so Heart of Stone is basically the dollar store version of Mission Impossible with Gal Gadot.
Sure.
The plot is extremely hokey. It's okay, I guess. It's fine for what it is. I think Gal Gadot is best served as an action actress.
Right.
That's not a slight. Yeah. So she works in this. That was a problem with that, perhaps. Yeah, she works in this just fine, but there's still like, I like Gal Gadot. I do. I think she has like a natural charisma and a warmth to her. Like she's Wonder Woman.
Sure.
But at the same time, I don't know if it would hurt were she to take an acting class or have a coach. Again, I love Gal Gadot. She's great.
Yeah.
But even in this, she's kind of lagging behind, just a little bit. But the action is cool in it. Yeah, it's fine.
You saw Red Notice, right? She's in that one with Dwayne.
Unfortunately, I did. That's another thing. She should stay away from Netflix. Everybody should stay away from Netflix.
Just wondering about the comparison between the two and like the acting classes you're seeing. Like I said, I've only seen her as Wonder Woman. I saw Red Notice, but I never seen her in any of the Fast and the Furious movies.
I like her in those, but again,
don't know if she's been in another movie other than those ones.
She was in the Murder on the Orient Express sequel.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, that would be
people famously make fun of one of her scenes in there, which I've seen the particular clip. I don't think it's that bad, but it is what it is. Just saying, just a little coach and like an acting coach. Let's have a nudge, maybe. Just a nudge, because you're right there. Just a little nudge. Aaron asked, does the Netflix logo have the same feel as the straight-to-DVD releases back in the early 2000s? It's starting to get that way. I think that they have a couple of hits, like the Extraction films. I know you're a fan of those too, Emmet. We both love those. But outside of those two movies, I can't really think of any like made-for-Netflix films I like.
I think it was last year they did like the big 52 movies a year. Like they had a movie every single year or every single week of the year.
Yeah, they had a lot of them.
It's rough. It can be rough.
They cloned Tyrone is a Netflix movie. I did like that.
Yeah, The Irishman too.
That was a Netflix movie?
I'm pretty sure that was Netflix, was it not?
Okay, maybe just when they try to do these action films, maybe that's the problem. Because I thought Gray Man was terrible.
Yeah, it's like Aaron's saying, like the straight to DVD, like it's those kind of movies. Like there's the straight action movie or very subpar in the plot aspect of things.
And they look expensive, which is worse. Like Gray Man looked like a decent, like visually it was cool, and so is this. Visually, it's cool, but
it'd be interesting to see what Rebel Moon's like.
Rebel Moon looks gorgeous.
Yeah, well, again, we haven't seen too much of it. We've seen some pictures, and I think we see some quick clips.
Yeah,
but I think they're spending a lot of money on the movie, so it'll be interesting to see how it looks compared to big blockbusters.
Well, I would say that one is going to be in safe hands as far as the visuals because of Snyder.
Sure.
And I think it's interesting that they've already announced there's 2 cuts of it coming, so you'll have the regular one, then I guess it'll be 4 hours of director's cut. So I think Rebel Moon is going to be safe, but that's also like a different thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like The Irishman. Scorsese does Netflix. Sure, it's going to work.
Yeah.
Or Adam Sandler does Netflix. I got Hubie Halloween out of it, but that's about it. Hubie Halloween is a great time.
I'm glad you enjoy it.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Phil.
Grab says Bright is the only one I could ever think of, and I haven't seen it. Oh, I kind of like Bright.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, I think Bright is probably, it might be the only Ayer film I like.
Did you see Fury? I know you don't like war movies.
I did not see Fury because I was already on the train of I don't like Ayer.
Yeah. trying to think of some other ones.
I've seen like Street Kings, not a fan.
Which one? Street
That's
Kings.
on Keanu Reeves, but also I don't love Keanu Reeves. I know everybody's gonna put a target on my back for that one.
Yeah.
I don't
remember Street Kings.
Oh, Aaron said, yeah, Zach's last one for Netflix wasn't that great for me, the Zombie Vegas thing. I forgot about that. I didn't like that one either. I thought it was okay. End of watch. That's the one I actually do want to watch.
With Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena.
Yeah, that one I'll probably like. Plus, Jake Gyllenhaal's in it, so I'll probably I'll watch that. End of watch is great. Yeah, that one I'll probably check it out. But I would not run to watch Heart of Stone. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Yeah, it's just a one and done.
You don't like piano clutches. I know. I think so. I think what it is, my exposure to Keanu was Bill and Ted, which I love, then directly into Bram Stoker's. And his accent and his whole vibe I can't deal with in that movie. And then I also can't stand Johnny Mnemonic. There's a few other ones, but he's okay. I've grown to appreciate him more now.
Sure.
Post
he knows
John
who
Wick.
he is now.
Yeah,
he knows who he is now.
Post John Wick, I've embraced the Keanu. Pre John Wick, not so much. But it's okay. But I think the highlight that I also watched Blade, but that's a whole other thing I could ramble on about. The big thing for me this week was The Last Voyage of the Demeter was released, which was something. Oh yeah, I do love Constantine. Phil is right.
Jeez,
I forgot. I do love
you out a little bit there too. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, Last Voyage of the Demeter finally came out. This is an interesting one for me because they have been trying to make. If nobody knows the history of it, they've been trying to make this movie since like the early 2000s, and it's gone through so many versions. Like the original version, Dracula was not just in the movie. He looks like Gollum. He's like a 6-foot tall version of Smeagol. And in the original version, he was actually going to be a man, which was interesting. He was going to be played by the same actor who played Dracula on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Fun fact. Yeah. So the fact that this movie got made after 20 years is amazing to me, and it's coherent. So awesome. It was really fun though. It's basically like watching Alien, but with Dracula.
Right.
That's the comparison I've been seeing, and I think it's spot on. It's a good time, and what was fun to me is in the theater, people were actually getting scared. Like there was audible gasps, and a lot of people like hugging each other at certain scenes. and there was a particular death that I don't want to spoil, but you could hear people like kind of getting choked up about it. And like, this movie is doing its job. That is amazing. So that was the highlight for me. I look forward to watching again. It ends in a way where you could have a sequel, because if you're at all familiar with the story, the boat is intended to get Dracula to London, which is where the real chaos ensues.
Sure.
And it's not a spoiler to say what happens.
How much does it rely on that the lore of Dracula, or is it straight up an action horror?
It is a complete. It feels like a Hammer horror film, like a Hammer film, and he is a bat throughout. He looks cool for what it is, but I don't love it, and he just kind of reminds me of Gollum.
Right.
But that's fine.
Yeah, like the scene in Bram Stoker's Dracula where this basically is the movie, like of the boat. It lasts like 45 seconds, maybe a minute long.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see that aspect of it. I just wondered if they could have added in the lore, like the history of Dracula as well.
It doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's very much just the Demeter stuff, which is cool enough for me. Like I said, I'd be in for a sequel. Cookie really liked it too, and our friend Phil Walsh also saw it, and he enjoyed it. I would have liked to see Dracula in human form a bit. Yeah, I think that's what kind of takes away for me. I really don't like creatures.
But isn't he, like, to stick to the story, he is the creature for the entire boat ride?
For the entire boat ride.
Yeah, in the source material though
Oh, in the
too.
source? No, I mean in the source material, he's he's like a man.
Okay.
The way the movie plays it is that the creature is his actual form,
Oh, okay.
which is different. He's essentially hiding when he's not the creature,
Mm-hmm.
but we never see him out of the creature visage, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to see one shot of him as a man,
Sure.
especially because they do something really cool with the ending,
Hmm.
and you expect it. It's like, oh no, he's still Gollum. Yeah, that was a good time. I really enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing it again when it comes home.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, I have two pretty decent Dracula films this year. Wildly different,
Yeah. I was thinking that wildly different. Holy cow.
Wildly. To go back to something Grab says, I'm with you, Chris. I don't like Keanu Reeves. I always expect him to break out a dude in the middle of any movie. I know it's been years since Bill and Ted, but I can't help it. See, I always expect to hear a whoa.
Whoa.
That's what I expect. Or guns. We need guns.
We need guns.
That's my counter impression for the evening. Aaron says, how does Nick Cage on have a Netflix contract? The king of straight to streaming. If he did, I'd watch every one of those horrible films. It's every one of them. So Aaron asks, best vampire film. By default, Interview with the Vampire for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised it took you that long to answer it, Chris.
Because I was thinking, should I just go with the classic? The classic? I don't know. I do like 30 Days of Night, though. Grab says, I tried to see Bram Stoker's Dracula opening night at Friday the 13th, and it was sold out. Ended up being a terrible date, and I blame the movie. Still haven't seen it. I would give it a shot. It's not my favorite interpretation, but it's pretty good. It's got some good stuff in there. Just close your eyes when Keanu Reeves is on the screen. That's all. Other than that, it's pretty solid. Anyone watch Cobwebs? I thought it was excellent. No, this is something I want to get to. I think maybe tonight since it's streaming now. It's it's A24 horror movie, I think, right?
No idea. Spider movie?
Maybe. Cobweb.
What's it about? Cookie, lay it on us.
Cookie also agrees with Interview with the Vampire being the best.
What a surprise!
It's a good one. You can't fight the classic.
You can't fight the classic.
Frank says those Underworld movies are underrated. Yeah, I like the first one, and I don't mind the second one. But they get kind of crazy as they go on.
Yeah, they do. Whatever they had, the lichens, the werewolves. Which one's that?
That's all.
Oh, that's all of them. Oh boy,
they all have. That's the basis of Underworld. Vampires versus the lichens.
Oh, okay.
The finale of Strange Worlds this week was epic. Did you watch that?
Yes, I have a topic to talk about that when I get to my aspect of it. So,
Cobweb is about kids. Kid hears knocking on the wall, and family secrets get revealed. Very creepy. It's like supernatural people under the stairs.
Supernatural people under the stairs.
Anyway, yeah,
what's in the wall? Okay, what's in the wall? Rats.
What's in the box? That's what I want to know.
What's in that box? I've heard that.
What's in the box? That wraps up my watches. Then.
Fair enough.
I think. If not, I've rambled enough anyway. What'd you get into?
Oh, come on. We've got lots of time.
What'd you get into?
Yeah, so I saw Mutant Mayhem. We'll talk about that a little bit closer towards the end. I do want to talk about Strange New Worlds, though. The Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2 finale. I liked it very much. I liked the season very much. But I had a thought about the show on the whole and how other shows that are movies that are either remaking something or doing like sequels or new trilogies, what have you. So in Strange New Worlds, we get classic characters from Star Trek, the original series. We get a new Spock. We get a new James Kirk. We get a new Scotty. We get a new Uhura. I can't say it right now.
Uhura.
But I always think about like how big of a deal it was when they cast a new Han Solo, and how people like straight up like were angry and said, "Oh, I wouldn't watch it," or didn't give Solo like a good enough chance because of new Solo. Exactly. And I think, and that's, that's the biggest thing right there is not my blank. And I was watching Strange New Worlds and I was talking to my friend about it. and he's a classic Star Trek lover. Like his favorite Star Treks are the original series, Next Generation, then Strange New Worlds. And him having these new actors playing classic characters hasn't bothered him. And I thought it, and the stuff that I saw online, there was no one saying, bad things about Strange New Worlds because of this. And it got me thinking about why that is. Is there something about Star Trek? Is it like I like Star Wars? People would lose their minds, like if they cast a new Luke or a new Leia. Like they couldn't cast a new Luke for the Mandalorian stuff. They had to do the deep faker and the CGI and everything. And I just thought it was really interesting that in Star Trek with the classic characters like James T. Kirk and Spock, and they just they're new actors, and that's who it is. And even the most diehard Star Trek fans accept it as okay, sure. And I just thought that was an interesting thing compared to any DC character that they recast, or we were just talking about the whole we weren't talking about it, but in the news is about Gal is Wonder Woman. She's my Wonder Woman, all that kind of stuff. Well, no, there can be a new actress. I don't understand it. And I was wondering why. And I know I can't really ask you about it because you're not really a Star Trek guy, but I just don't know why. And maybe Eric, you can jump in the comments. Why do you think it's not a big deal for Star Trek to recast classic characters, but on the flip side of it, DC, Star Wars, everyone loses their minds? Do you have any kind of insight into that?
I think part of it is Star Trek fans seem to be a bit more calm in a way and more accepting. Also, there's a lot of Star Trek.
Sure.
I think that's the thing too. There's a lot of it. Whereas Star Wars, up until Disney got them, there wasn't a lot. You just had the movies, and if you wanted, there was animated stuff. But most people, like I love Star Wars. I have never sat down to watch a lot of the anime. I've seen bits of it, but I just think that the Trek fans are more accepting. And it may be just because there's more of it. But also in the case of like Han Solo is a great example. This has been a belief of mine for a while. People don't like Han Solo. They like Harrison Ford.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I've always thought that. It's not about Han Solo. It's about Harrison Ford. He is everything about that character. If you take away the Harrison Ford stuff, he's a generic smuggler. But Eric has a response for you, though. I think the Kelvin-verse films have helped with fans being comfortable with recasts. Plus, Trek has had so many characters in the series that I think Trek fans are used to it. Also, I'm spot on, apparently. So.
There you go. Asked and answered.
Sometimes I get things right.
I just thought it's just nice that the series ended and Scotty was introduced in the last episode of this season, and people aren't going online saying this is blasphemy and this is the worst thing in the world. It's just like, okay, no, it's not Simon Pegg, exactly. It's just, I don't know, it's just an interesting thought that wasn't the first instinct for me and for other people to crap on something new, trying something by bringing like old characters back. I just thought it was interesting.
Are you noticing the stuff about Zeddy's engagement?
Yeah,
Cookie's sending him an engagement gift. I'm wondering if we can go halfsies on it, because that'd be cool.
Sure.
Aaron wants to go to the wedding. As long as we talk about how great the GOAT TC is. Who's TC? Oh, Tom Cruise.
I assume Tom Cruise, yeah.
So you did like the finale, though?
Absolutely. I thought it was a great season. What's that?
It's a season, not a series finale, right?
Yeah, this is the end of the second season.
Okay.
And it was interesting. This season, I think I talked about it at the very start, when we were talking about the season premiere, and in the second episode, how it didn't feel like a kind of a cohesive season all the way through. There was the crossover with the Lower Decks cartoon Star Trek show.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was interesting. And then the penultimate episode was a musical episode.
I saw people talking about that. Was that episode good?
It was outstanding.
Okay.
It was so good. My love for musicals is really amped up pretty highly over the last couple of years.
They're wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. They are wonderful. So Seeing the crew of the the Starship Enterprise doing a song and dance was great stuff. It was funny that it was the penultimate episode. Again, it didn't lead anything into the finale at all. But
Is it standalone?
Yeah, like you could skip that episode and
could I just watch that episode though?
Sure, you can. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna do that.
It's a good time. Just to watch Anson Mount sing, and who wouldn't want to see that?
The not Batman guy.
Yeah, exactly. The guy who should be Batman.
Yeah, looks like Batman. Grab says Trek isn't as popular as the other franchises at the moment. They'll take what they can get. It's like Marvel movies in the 80s.
Yeah. It's not like Marvel movies in the 80s because those were horrible. But I agree with the aspect that you get, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and then Star Trek, if that's the four. Yeah.
Eric says this might be the best 18 months of Trek since the 90s.
Exactly. The TV shows that are on now are some of the best Star Trek that we've ever had. So that was this. Yeah, at least watch the musical or watch the cartoon. Watch Lower Decks. It's hilarious. Jack Quaid. The other thing that I did this week is I got Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the new one for PlayStation 5. So I got that. I played the game a ton when I was in high school. I think I had the first one on N64, and I think I had the second one on PlayStation or PS2. I can't remember which one. Anyways, I thought it was a lot easier than I remember it being. And it's very difficult now. And I wonder if you've ever had that, where something you played or seen when you were a kid, and then you try to do it, and now you're like, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Or was I a different gamer back then? Or was I a totally different person back then?
Have you ever played the Batman game for the Nintendo? The original Nintendo?
Yeah, the side scroll.
It was for the movie.
I think I might have played Returns. I remember there being winter and clowns.
Right. Returns had different versions of depending what console you played on.
Okay.
But the Batman game for Nintendo is notoriously difficult. And as a kid, I was like, "Oh, this is nothing." I tried playing it as an adult. I couldn't get past the first level, and I got frustrated and just was like, "I'm done." Same with the RoboCop game. And I remember I finished the RoboCop game as a kid. Again, I couldn't get past the first level when I tried it recently.
I think that's the same with the Terminator 2 T2 Judgment Day game. I couldn't make it back to the bar. I couldn't make it to the fucking bar.
I couldn't either. I went on an emulator kick because I found this thing on it's a website you could just load on your phone and play all these games. I realized things are different.
Yeah.
The difficult games I can't do anymore.
Yeah. It's like I can't string a combo together. I'm on fucking falling. I just remember being so good, and it frustrates me that I can't play the simple Tony Hawk game.
I can't play Sifu. Grab says, yes, Emmet, you were different then. I can't play games any longer. It's terrible. With age comes less gaming expertise. I think it's a focus thing too.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, as a kid, you have all the time in the world. There's no pressing matters around you.
Yeah.
So you just play your game, Eric said, I remember playing Batman Vengeance, the proof of concept for the Arkham series. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. That game was fun. The story was really cool.
I don't know that one.
There was Batman Vengeance, which was it was like at the animated series as a video game. It looked like it. It had the cutscenes, voice actors. It had a decent combat system. And you actually had to arrest everybody after you defeat them, which was kind of odd and time consuming, but it is what it is. So you had that, and then the sequel is Rise of the Sensu, which is also animated series based.
Right, I knew about that one.
Yeah, the Vengeance was the first one. It was a little different. Zeddy Connor was going to Gran Turismo yesterday. If you ever played the game or a racing gamer, it's a 2 thumbs up for me. Such a crowd pleaser. That one's surprising because I've seen the trailers and I was like, nah, I'm not watching this. But I've been seeing like nothing but good stuff about it.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it. I guess not this week, but maybe next week. My daughter is big into racing right now.
Oh, really?
So we're going to see that. Yeah, she's huge into F1 racing, actually.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, we'll go see Gran Turismo. It looks like a good time.
Do the kids play games? I know your little guy does.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, we have the F1 game. She's been playing a ton of that. She plays Red
Okay,
Dead Redemption
Red Dead's a
2.
good time.
And we actually just got a Monster Jam game for the Switch. My son's been playing that, and we've been playing that for a bunch,
That's
just for
fun.
fun. It was $9 on the Nintendo store or
Oh, that's
whatever.
all.
Yeah, so
That's cheap.
exactly.
That's cheap enough.
I don't care what kind of game it is. It was $9.
Yeah, if he plays it once, that's awesome.
Exactly. If it occupied him for one day, that'd be enough.
Yeah, $9. That's cheaper than going to the movies.
That's right.
Frank says Madden is next week. Yeah, I saw that. I'm kind of want to play that, but I don't really like football. I just like the games.
Fair enough.
Then he also mentions that Rise of the Sin 2 game. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the cinema again, Emmett?
Apparently so.
We win again.
Non-stop W's.
Yes, nonstop W's. My boys are playing the Lego Avengers games right now. So fun to watch and occasionally dive playing with them.
They're the best.
Those are ridiculously difficult, though. Like, why are they so difficult?
It's so hard, but they're so much fun. There's just so many
And they're
characters.
so cute, too. Like a little Wolverine with the giant claws. It's cute. Speaking of Lego Avengers, they're releasing like these Lego Marvel characters, and there's gonna be a Moon Knight. I'm very excited.
It's an instant buy for you.
Yes, I need a Lego, but they're all like those blind bags. So I don't know how many of those damn bags I'm gonna have to buy to get the Moon Knight.
How many characters are there?
Too many.
Yeah.
I think there's like 10 on the bag.
Yeah, go and get 18 Captain Americas.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I need the Moon Knight.
Just walking. I can do this all day.
Oh, and there's a Mr. Knight. Well, there you go. See, I'm gonna have to buy even more bags. Hashtag Emmett loves movie theaters. I think that we're getting you to go to theaters. We're willing it.
Well, speaking of movie theaters, we both went and saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Yes, we did.
I went on Monday, this past Monday, I think. I went with my son and my two little cousins. They had a great time. Action was great for them. The fart jokes were good for them.
Fart jokes are good for everybody.
Yeah, the milking jokes, they love that constant gag throughout all the characters they loved. I wasn't expecting all the characters, that's for sure. I think I maybe only watched one trailer for this thing, maybe at the very first one, and didn't really see the rest, so I didn't really know what to expect. It was just okay for me. Nothing really stood out for me aside from the action, which I thought was very good. And I didn't really like the Turtles that much, but I love Splinter. I thought Splinter was very funny. I thought his little story time was very good about like the origin story of the Turtles was very good. I thought his action scenes were very good, and I thought him kind of towards the end, the finale was very good. But yeah, it was just okay for me. But my kid, my son had a great time. My two cousins had a great time as well. The animation was okay for me as well. Maybe I'm too in tune with the Across the Spider-Verse animation right now, where this is like in the same family, but just that a little bit different. I like the color and everything, but maybe it was just the static nature of some of the animations I didn't really jive with. But yeah, what do you think, Chris?
It's one of my favorite films of the year.
Nice.
I really love this movie. I thought it was a ton of fun. I knew there was a lot of characters because I remember the first trailer or the it was a poster, whatever it was, listed all these actors' names.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is a huge cast. But I don't think it stuck with me that there's gonna be so many characters.
So many.
Like I can't remember all the characters in it or all the actors. I could tell you Paul Rudd stood out to me because throughout the movie I was thinking, is that Paul Rudd? He was Gecko. I forgot the character's name.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was thinking, is that Paul Rudd? That sounds like Paul Rudd. And then at the end of the credits, oh, it is Paul Rudd. Okay. Then also Ice Cube as a villain was unexpected.
Yes.
That was different. Also, I think it was cool, and I give them a lot of points for this. They didn't do the traditional Turtles versus Shredder. You know,
Sure.
they did something different to start out with and kind of open this universe. And I like that. I thought that was a good move, especially because you just concentrate on the turtles, really.
Mm.
And I liked the turtles themselves. I thought they were a lot of fun. Like the bacon, egg, and cheese thing, I thought was hilarious. And I liked the needle drops too. Those were a blast. They did a lot of changes though, and the changes were not hit and miss for me, but they were just different because I wasn't expecting that.
Like origin story changes?
Origin story changes. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but like the origin changes and some of the stuff toward the ending, it was different. But I think at the same time, because we have so much turtle media, it's not like, oh, they ruined it. It's like, no, I just have a new version to watch, and I like that it's fresh. So you know, it's a good surprise. If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Grab says, I didn't like how the turtles were trained version. That's one of the changes. That was different.
Yes.
You can't remember all the characters because they're all the same. I wouldn't say that. It just, some of them had more time than others, I think. Like the bat thing, that was cool, but it didn't have a lot of time. And then like Leatherhead is not existent. It's just there.
Yeah.
Frank says, I love this movie too. Loved how it was just the beginning. Everything is on the table going forward. I agree with that.
Did you see the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle ones?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw both of them.
Are they teenagers in those ones? Like I know they're teenage Ninja Turtles.
Hard to tell in those ones because they're like gigantic. First of all,
big.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then in the original ones, I never got the sense that they were teenagers in those ones either.
If they are, they're like 19.
Yeah. So the one thing I did like about Mutant Mayhem is their actual teenagers. Like there's school mentioned. April is a teen. She's not a grown woman like she is in the original movie. So I like that aspect of it where they're still teenagers. Like there's the school aspect of it and the the wanting to be out in the real world. I like that aspect of it. I did find that pretty refreshing, actually.
It was different. I enjoy that aspect of it, and the way it's depicted works because you kind of you feel for them in a way that I don't think you really. In the first movie, I would say yes. The first movie, you connect with them pretty well because of how the story is written.
Sure.
It's also a much darker film than this. But
here, they think Splinter's dead or whatever, and
it's a whole different ballgame in the first one.
Yeah.
In this one, though, you just kind of resonate with them, I think, right off the bat because they come off, they're just children, essentially.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect. I really like the voice work, too. I thought,
I agree with that, yeah.
I don't know how you felt about it, but when they announced that they were all kids, I was like, well, that's different. What is that going to be like? And then once you see it in motion, it's like, oh, I get it now. This is cool.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the way they interacted with each other. At times, for me, much like the art style, I thought the conversations and the dialogue was a bit too much. Like they were almost talking over each other a little bit too much, just for me. I think that maybe that's possibly kind of the point. They're four, brothers. Yeah, 14 brothers, and they're just kind of going on a whole bunch of different directions. But it was hard for me to follow a little bit of their conversations and their arguments. And even when all the other characters, all the villains are introduced, I can't remember which one it was. Whichever one had the accent, it might have been the little flying bug or someone else. I couldn't understand the thing they were saying during the big chase scene.
I believe Leatherhead was Australian.
Yeah, it was hard for me just to get because there were so many characters.
Yeah,
and they were all just saying so much and doing so much. So just for me, it's just a little bit too much going on.
Did you like John Cena as Rocksteady?
I didn't know that was John Cena.
There wasn't a lot of.
He doesn't say much. I know the Bebop was Seth Rogen. I think you can't miss that fucking voice.
No, you can't.
But yeah, I didn't know that was John Cena. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Some of the characters got more time to shine than others. And I think if I do have an issue, that would be it.
Right.
I would have liked maybe less characters so we could see the characters we do have.
I would agree with that 100%. You didn't need what was it? It was almost like 10 villains.
It was a lot of them.
Like
they didn't really all serve a purpose.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
Zeddy said, I love how fresh Mutant Mayhem felt. Excuse me. The Turtles being voiced by actual teenagers and overall felt like it was embraced how weird and fun TMNT is. Definitely a unique adaptation, though, with the lore. Agreed. Grab says, it's a new version. I'm okay with that. Donatello was smart because he wore glasses. His big smart mode was knowing how to beat people by comics. A Michelangelo thing. So this is a thing I've been seeing pop up a lot. People didn't like Donatello's portrayal because he didn't come off as smart enough. Right. Which I respect that take. I get it. Did you feel that way too?
One of my problems with all the four turtles more or less felt for me the same. They didn't have enough to distinguish them apart. So I would agree with that take, yes.
Okay.
So tell me I'm wrong. Lay it on me.
No. It's how you feel about it. That's fine. I thought they were all unique, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's good. And from the biggest things that I've seen online about it is that it's either you love the four turtles or you didn't like the four turtles.
That's what I've been seeing too.
It's very much that's what's drawing people apart is just the turtles from what I've seen.
Which is kind of fascinating because if you don't like the turtles, you don't like the movie, I think.
Yeah, it didn't help. That's for sure.
In every version of the Ninja Turtles, you have to like them to get into whatever it is you're watching. Right. Like that was a big thing with the Bay Turtles. Nobody liked them. Right. I mean, I did, but not many other people did.
Sure.
Zeddy compared it to Spider-Man Homecoming, but in an animated way. That's interesting. I can see that. Grabs liked April. I thought April was pretty good too.
Yeah. I like her gag too of being nervous. I thought that was fun.
You know, it's funny because I went with my daughter to see it. And I was like cackling during that particular needle drop scene. Yeah. And I looked over at her and she was just like stone faced. Yeah. But just funny. Frank said at the end, each turtle showed their personalities. Yeah, I thought that was cool too. They at the end they do come together and you can see what each one does specifically. Zeddy mentioned that they greenlit a sequel and 2 spin-off Paramount Plus series. It's going to bridge the gap between this one and the sequel. I didn't know that until Zeddy told me.
I didn't know that either.
Emmet has entered the Grab's old age. Welcome, man.
I do what I can.
I thought it was fun. I really like the animation style too. I think I agree with you though. It does look a lot like Across the Spider-Verse.
Well, it's like they're cousins or something. Like it's a very close kind of animation style, and you could tell that they're trying to make sure that they're not looking like Across the Spider-Verse and just one step to the right or the left. I think, but I like that it's not just a straight up cartoon or Pixar or whatever.
I think it looked better. Then I've seen Elemental this year. I saw that Ruby, whatever it was called, I can't remember. The Kraken movie. I think this looked better than both of those. One was DreamWorks, one was Pixar. I like the look of this, but I think Spider-Verse probably takes the visual cake, if you will.
I would agree with that.
I think 2 of my favorite movies this year are 2 animated films about superheroes.
Yeah, and both of them. It's funny that the Ninja Turtles and Across the Spider-Verse just overload us with characters too.
Yeah, but in Spider-Verse, I think in Spider-Verse, everybody got their time to shine.
Yeah, and it's more of a nod to the characters that you see
right
in the screen or whatever, where it felt like they're in Mutant Mayhem. They're going to introduce us. Like, oh, here's Leatherhead. Great. Oh,
yeah, okay. Leatherhead's a big deal.
Yeah, but then he just has a couple lines, and that's the end of it, right? So
yeah, the Paul Rudd lizard had a lot of lines.
Yeah, I have to. I think I know the gecko who you mean.
He was the one that Michelangelo got along with really well.
He's got the big head.
Yeah,
I think I know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he was fun. It's a good time, and I really excited for the sequels and whatnot. The post-credit scene was absolute magic to me.
I didn't stick around to watch it, so I'll have to check it out. No, I left with the kids and got out of there.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I'll watch it.
Cool. I think you won't like part of it and you like the other. That's like 2 things. I think you like the second part.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it after you see it.
Yeah, sure.
But I love that movie. It's a good
time. All right.
We forgot something big that we both love.
I didn't watch it yet.
Okay.
That's why I haven't talked about it.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna watch it after this tonight, and then we'll be able to talk about it next week. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I thought you watched it.
No, I didn't. I was going to, and then I forgot, and I just watched too much Deadwood.
Okay, that's fair. I watched a lot of Young Sheldon. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize I had a lot of Paul Rudd this week between Mutant Mayhem and Only Murders in the Building.
That's right.
I had a lot of Paul Rudd, especially because I watched the finale. I mean, not finale, the season premiere at 2 a.m. after Ninja Turtles.
Jesus. Okay, one thing I did want to bring up is something that I think we put on our Twitter poll a couple weeks ago about series finales.
Oh yeah,
it's probably too late for me to find it, but Chris, you wanted to know about the best or some of your people's favorites series finales, not season finales, but series finales. Yes. I'm gonna see if I can find it now.
I think I got it.
You have it there?
I will in a second. Yeah, I did the search thing. It actually works really well.
Shit, I don't know how to use that. Anyways, in the comments, guys, let us know some of your favorite series finales. Chris, do you have any of your favorite series finales?
Maybe I'm wrong because now I can't. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got the list up.
Do you want to read some people's comments first?
Yeah, we can do that. So our friend Bill Moon says Cheers, which I always hear Cheers is like one of the best things ever. Grab said The Office is his favorite series finale of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Walsh says Friends. It's a gold standard, in my opinion, for how to end a series, give the people what they want while telling an emotional and satisfying story. Chef's Kiss. I agree with Phil. Our friend Kaiser Jose said he loved the Game of Thrones ending. Jon Snow got what he wanted. Our buddy Matthew Malecki. This was a good one because nobody went for this in this direction. Matthew said Boy Meets World.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. I appreciate that. Our buddy Philip Barker said Gotham Knights, which I haven't seen the finale, but I've seen a specific clip of it, and I like it.
Oh, boy.
This is a specific clip. Comic Guy Steve, who is now MLB Guy Steve. I don't know what the MLB is.
Yes.
Midlife Vices. Midlife Vices Guy Steve. Okay,
yes.
That makes sense. He's got Lost. He's got Lost, Game of Thrones, Cheers, Breaking Bad, which is a great one, and Friends.
Mm-hmm.
Chris from Lost in Comics is going with Breaking Bad and The Office. John Hayes says Lost. Our friend Cookie Monster said 6 Feet Under. I've never seen this show, but I think I'd love it.
Yeah, I think you would too, Chris.
Eric said Picard. Baylor Comics said the original finale to Supernatural. I didn't know that got extended into a whole other thing.
Oh, right. Yeah, they did another, like a sequel series or whatever the bullshit's called. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is. But he said the original finale. Our Durble McDillard said 24. We got a Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And that'll round out the comments on that one.
Nice. What about you, Chris? What are some of your favorite series finales?
I actually don't like series finales most of the time. So it's funny because
it's tough, right? Yeah.
It's tough. And I really don't. That's why I prefer not to finish series a lot of times. It took me, I want to say, 8 years to finish Mad Men.
Yeah.
As much as I adore it, I just did not want it to end on a horrible note. But if I had to pick favorites, Buffy for sure. Not Buffy. I'm sorry. Buffy had a horrible one. Friends is what I was thinking of. I love the Friends finale. The Succession finale was pretty good. The Ted Lasso one in recent memory. I did love the Mad Men one. After I watched, I was like, "Oh, this is good." And that might be it for me.
One of the things I like about the Mad Men one is the endings for all the characters.
Yes,
and that's something that 6 Feet Under it did as well. And Cookie, I agree with her. 6 Feet Under is my favorite series finale as well, where it shows you how everyone's journey ends, because that the show is about death. But yeah, that's what I like about the Mad Men series. You see what happens with Peggy and Stu. You see what happens with Roger and Marie, and so forth, and see what happens with Dawn and all that kind of stuff. So I like having the little pockets and seeing how everyone's ends. So that's where I would rely as well. Even like the ending, I still get upset about the Mad Men ending.
Really?
I still get upset about Don Draper and what he is going to do.
Why?
He doesn't, because I don't want him to go back.
But he needs to go back. That's him.
No, he doesn't need to go back. He needs to accept who he is, not
He's
what he thinks
but he's
he
a
should
new
be.
person now, though.
No, he's not a new person.
He's Zen. He's a new person.
He's not Zen. He's going to be Zen, and he's feeling the Zen, and then all of a sudden he says, "Oh, I got an idea. So screw this Zen stuff. I'm going back to what's the? I can't remember
I forgot what it was at the end.
The firm that they're working. Anyways, he gives up that Zen life and goes back and makes a fucking Coke commercial, and says, "You know what? I'm going to make money off this Zen bullshit." Yeah, which isn't going to help him.
But we don't know that. It's ambiguous. It's whatever.
That's what I get upset about with Don Draper. And, but I like the idea of, like, I love Pete's ending. You know, Pete gets to be with his family, and gets to live
a nice ending.
life. Yeah, exactly. So
and I like Pete was like one of the worst people on the show.
Yeah, he started
they're
out
all horrible.
Punch the guy, and like in the mid-season when he's gets in the fight with Lane. And he's in the lowest moment. You still feel bad for the guy, and you still hate the guy. But then by the end of it, he's sticking up for Don, and he's being a stand-up guy. You know, I love Pete. He's one of my favorite characters.
He grew a lot throughout the show. Don didn't.
No, that's the problem. Don didn't grow.
Everybody else did except Don, I think. Yeah. Even Roger did a bit.
Yeah, oh shit, yeah, Roger accepted it too. Yeah, Don did not grow. Anyway, so yeah, 6 Feet Under is my pick for my fave series ending. Very hard show to watch though. Holy cow.
I think I would like it. That's about funeral
home,
right?
Watch it, Chris. Yeah. What's that?
It's about like a funeral home, right?
Yeah, it's a family that runs a funeral home.
Yeah, well, so on my list right now, I'm going to finish Penny Dreadful finally. Because that's another one I said, I don't want to finish. It might be crap, but I've heard a lot about it, so I want to finish it. And then I might get to that. Ruben says Pokemon because the feels. Did they catch them all? I'm just curious. Grab says Boy Meets World is a fantastic answer. I agree. Great plug. You're our rep guy. I try. Better Call Saul. I've heard that's a great finale.
Great ending.
Breaking Bad's finale was fantastic.
What do you think about the idea when a finale ends and then they add on to it like that Supernatural? They made the El Camino movie with Jesse, so his ending on Breaking Bad is continued.
I prefer to think El Camino doesn't exist.
And same with Deadwood too. I'm watching the series now. The show is going to end after season 3, but then they make the movie again. It's just like, oh.
Yeah, I'd rather. I think you end the show as the show, and then the movie's like secondary. It's like, okay, if I want this, it's there, but this is the ending. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way I look at it. Because I couldn't tell you what happened in El Camino. I don't remember it. But I know what happens in the Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
I can tell you that.
Fair enough.
Frank votes The Sopranos. Tony clearly got whacked. All signs point to it. Great show. Or go show.
Mm-hmm.
You like Sopranos. Do you feel that he also got killed at the end?
Yes, he got killed at the end, 100%.
Eric says
I didn't watch that show live either. I wish that I did. I wish I saw that finale live, like, because it ends on black and then stays on black for like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen that live and experienced.
I've only seen 2 episodes of Sopranos, and both of them were like huge spoilers for some reason.
People dying.
Yeah, one was the Portia de Rossi's character.
Mm-hmm.
I'd seen that episode, and I saw the finale. Was that her name?
No.
Who was the woman in the show?
Like Ellen DeGeneres' wife?
Yeah, she was on that show.
She's not in the show.
Yes, she is.
No, she is not.
She's not?
No.
Who is that then? It's a lady that looks like
Arrested Development?
No? Hold on. We have the internet.
Wait a second. Her name's right. It's not Portia. Yeah, you're. I forget what her name is. In the show, it's Adriana.
Yeah, her. That's not Portia de Rossi.
Lacerva. That's not Portia de Rossi.
Oh, I don't know. It's a mob lady.
I love that.
She gets whacked.
That's great. Yeah, she does indeed.
And then I saw the finale with my uncle, who was actually a giant Sopranos fan, and watching his reaction was magic.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah, it was. I didn't get it. It was like, well, what's the big deal?
Yeah, what's happening? What's the big deal?
What's going Deep Space Nine is also a great choice. Ruben says so many great shows have not so great finale. Yes, like Buffy, for example. I do not like that finale at all. Or Game of Thrones. Zeddy says,
sorry, the idea, and this is about Deadwood as well, where the series ends, but they don't get a real true finale. That's always a pain in the ass. Like the show's canceled.
Yeah, like Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Zeddy says Friday Night Lights, Boy Meets World, The Leftovers. I've heard Leftovers. I think that's a popular show.
It is. Very good show.
Cookie says, I'd say Penny Dreadful, but that's a traumatic one for me since they surprised everyone with a series finale. No one knew it was ending. Yeah, that did come up roughly, from what I understand. Frank also says The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air ended great. It did. It did, actually. That's a good one.
Yeah, good pick.
I was surprisingly satisfied with Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
Grab says, I think the actual correct answer is Newhart. When a show ends with a dream sequence from another show, that's brilliant. I've not seen the finale of Newhart. I've seen a lot of it.
I haven't seen it either. I've heard about that, yeah.
Zeddy says Smallville left me satisfied when all was said and done. Eric says also too many series finales don't come across. Yeah, so that's the thing too. Too many don't come across series finales because I guess they want to leave it to where you could imagine it just keeps going, which is fine, right. I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like what I get out of Big Bang Theory and Friends. They just keep going.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're sitting on the couch at the end of Big Bang. You know, it's
right. It's the way it started.
Exactly.
And it's a perfect one. I love Sick. Yeah, I will get to it. I got to finish Penny Dreadful first, though. Boardwalk Empire, excellent top tier HBO series finale, tarnished its legacy. You know, I got to be honest. I stopped watching it after I think season 2 or 3 when they killed the main character. I was like, I am done with this show. And then, from what I understand, it got like even better after that.
Son of a bitch!
Right, like, I missed out on all the fun stuff. Frank, The Sopranos was the first true appointment viewing show in my opinion. It's a prototype. Everybody loves this show.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's something I want to watch because I don't really like mob stuff. Do you?
In general, I don't like mob stuff. No.
Okay.
But this is more or less a character study, more than a mob stuff. Like there is the mob stuff here and there, but the cast of characters and how funny the show is, that's what did it for me.
Is it more Goodfellas or Godfather? Because Goodfellas I love, Godfather I'm lukewarm on.
Yeah, it's more Goodfellas than Godfather. Like Godfather's true blue, like Man Behind a Desk kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that The Sopranos like that.
Maybe I'll add it to the list. I want to be one of the cool kids. She was swimming with the fishes in Finding Dory. Was Portia de Rossi is not in Finding Dory. I don't think she is. Where if she is, I don't know. Maybe let me know. Dexter's ending fell on its face and got run over by a bus. I agree with that. I've seen that finale. That was not a good time.
I couldn't even get through the first season of that show, and then because I wanted to get to that finale, and when people are just like, that's the one that the most I've read about that is just pissed people off more than any other. It's
weird.
Finale.
It's so weird. I've seen a lot of. Again, I haven't seen like every episode, but I've seen a lot of it, and I did see the finale. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was entertaining, but the finale, even I knew, was like, this ain't it.
And it did the same thing where it came back again too, and maybe it tried to fix some things. I don't know, but
I don't know either. I didn't really hear many people talk about it even. Mm-hmm. Aaron says The Shield has always stuck with me. I heard a lot about that show too.
That's the one with Michael Chiklis, right?
Yes, the Thing himself. The first 3 seasons of Dexter are great. Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I've watched the most of is the first 3. There's pretty good stuff. Plus, it's always cool to see John Lithgow.
Which seasons is he in? Or is he in all of them?
No, I think he's in the one before the last.
He's Dexter's dad? Is that right?
I don't remember. No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
No, his dad is played by Michael Remar. Second Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Got it. Thank you. I watched those recently too, so that helps.
The finale of Oz haunts me. It's so sad. I've never watched Oz. Have you?
Just take out the finale, and that's it. And the Oz haunts me. It's so sad. The entire series is man. Early HBO, man. Yeesh.
It was rough back then.
Yeah.
Grab says How I Met Your Mother worst finale ever. That I think I agree with. That
Oh,
finale
really?
is so bad. I don't even like watching the final season. To me, it ends at season 8.
Interesting.
Yeah, and what's weird is they had an alternate version of the finale that they didn't use.
Mm-hmm.
And they went with what they went with, which just destroy. It's like, why?
Sons of bitches.
Who does this? Really? It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, I would agree. It's probably my least favorite finale.
That's an interesting idea too. My least favorite finale.
I'd go with that over Buffy, actually. Because Buffy was at least watchable and it ends in a way like, okay, this is fine. That ends in a way that just irritates me.
I don't know what my least favorite finale would be. That's a tough one. Because I don't know if I've seen a lot of, for myself, good shows that have had a bad finale that I watched. Like Dexter. I didn't watch Dexter and then have the bad finale.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's probably the top of the list. I don't really like the Walking Dead season finale, but Game of Thrones is probably the one that I dislike the most. I think so, yeah.
Have you seen the Full House finale?
I don't think so.
It's not bad. Michelle gets her memories back.
Who?
Spoiler alert, Michelle.
Shit, I don't remember what's happening.
She got thrown off a horse and got amnesia for some reason.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was intense.
Don't remember
for,
that.
TGIF show. It was intense.
Yeah, that's right.
Watching that as a child, I was like, what is happening?
All right, Chris. Anything else you want to chat about before we get out of here?
No, anything you're looking forward to next week other than Blue Beetle?
Shit, is that next week?
Yes, it's next week.
No, I'm going to watch Only Murders. Comic-wise, I don't think there's any comics I want to get to this week.
I'm just going to catch up on what I missed. So I got a lot of Night Terrors. I have number 3 and then a bunch of tie-ins.
Mm-hmm. That What If Moon Knight books this week, too.
Oh, okay. I got to read that, too.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, yeah, just more, a lot of Night Terrors to get through.
A lot of Night Terrors.
Not much else for me. All right, Chris. So where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever it is these days, at thatchris70. I also have a podcast with my buddies Philip Walsh and Anthony Caruso. You can find it on Twitter at DC Unlimited Pod. And as always, I'd love it if you'd follow this show at G of the Geeks on Twitter, X, whatever. Emmet is better with the rest of the plugs, so he will take over.
You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube. Wherever you get your podcast, just search Gathering of the Geeks, and you will find us. I want to say thanks to Eric, Grabs, Cookie, Aaron, Zeddy, Frank, Phil, Ruben, Travis. I think that was everybody. Cookie, did I say Cookie? Yes, thank you. I think that's everybody. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out on this fine Sunday evening. And saying all that, for Chris, and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
Have a good week, guys.